What is a twink? In Dark Souls 3, there are ways that you can go to make your character have an unfair advantage over the people your character can invade. This is called twinking. It is the act of going through the level or having people drop to you items that you could not obtain if you were at the same stage that the people you invade are. This guy has the Dragon Slayer's axe. That is something you pick up in Irithyll. He also has the Drang armor, which you pick up in the Cathedral, and the Millwood Greatbow, which you pick up in the DLC. That means he has been twinking. He has been unfairly getting himself the advantages that normal players would not have at this point in the game. He also had plus 10 estus, and that means his estus have twice the potency of a regular player's estus at this point. He will also have probably 7 estus as he invades, and that is also, it happens to be the maximum amount of estus you can have before the boss in this area. Now if that's not unfair, I don't know what is. But I killed him because he didn't have the requisite skill to use any of those things. And also I was just one person, and invasions are not balanced towards the 1v1. And I'm always going to kill people in 1v1 because people rely too much on their gear and not enough on their basics. That's a common occurrence. So I'm going to display to you now a series of invasions I had with my non-twink character. This is just to prove really that twinking is to some degree necessary when you're invading, if only to sort of level the playing field. You can see that I'm up against 2 phantoms, one white phantom with so much latency I can't face tank him, and another phantom with a meme sword who is relying on me getting hit stun by the straight sword guy. My character has the +1 estus flask that you get in this area. He also has only 3 of them because a regular host at this point would not have no more than 7 estus, and that's if they've really gone through the game properly. And this shows really how much of a disadvantage an invader actually is at when they're invading at this sort of intended soul level. Because nothing is twinked with this guy. Nothing at all. The damage is as good a damage as I could squeeze out of a non-twink character with only the items I could pick up in this area and the previous area, obviously. So I have a raw claymore, the Calico's round shield because it's the best small shield at this point in time, and I also have a +1 fire dagger for the really bad hosts, but I really often forget to bring it out. The first problem we're going to run into is something called a unwinnable situation. That means you can run up into a group of people playing through the game who are too passive, or they can whittle you down faster than your estus can recharge, meaning that they can take more damage from you than they're going to give you back when they die and give you 1 estus. In this case it is 400 because I have the estus ring on, so I can't take more than 400 damage for each phantom I kill, unless it's a blue phantom, at which point I can take 800 damage. But that is still a huge challenge, because for a twink character you can do 600 damage, and a twink character can also have better armor and better stat allocation, and they can have the prisoner's chain, which just gives them 15 free levels. And that means they're going to be much harder to kill. And this character, even though I've made him have 27 vigor, I think, he's very hard to kill, but it's also a lot of hit points to regenerate, so I have to play very careful with this guy. That's the other problem is, if I play careful, the host is going to play careful, and the host is not going to move from the bonfire in most cases. So you have to do a lot of psychology gaming, trying to lure the host into an area, hope for the blues to come and show up in the middle of enemies. Like this one. This guy is going to keep me in the game a little bit longer because he is not making his run back to the host. That's all I need. I'm going to fight with low health, so I'm going to sort of tempt him to not run back to the host and try to finish me off here. But I missed some parries, and that really is all that. But he does miss a parry too, so now now he's on the back foot. And he just can't help getting roll caught, and I have 2 more estus, and it's not going to be enough because the host has now summoned a phantom. This is a meme build, also a twink, got a dark hand, and it's going to do some serious damage. Gives me the point down. That's really funny, I think, because that's basically like hiding behind your mum's skirt and throwing obscenities at people. But the host has also turned out to be a caster, so I'm not under any illusion here. This is going to be a really hard, even potentially impossible invasion to beat. I've already killed 2 people, but I haven't fought as efficiently as I should have fought. And this means now that the host can safely summon a 3rd phantom in. I'm not going to get any help here because 3v1 is the sort of limit for what one phantom should be able to handle. So I grab some iframes here and I prepare to get out of here. Now they probably have enough balls to chase me down here. There I do and make another mistake. I waste some health by just dropping right down. I can of course not carry the silver cat ring because that would be twinking. And of course we're better than that. We're better than the twinking scum. But we're gonna do something cool now, and that is going into Steam, going into the recent playlist, and just finding whoever the host summoned and block them. Because of course they can't get back into the game should I kill them if they're blocked by me, because I'm holding the host's world hostage. And as much as the host tries to summon them, I control some of his netcode now. It's cheap, it's scummy, it's not really, it's metagaming, if anything. It's playing the game as you would if you played the game, not as you would your character would play the game, sort of, if you get what I mean. But there are 3 people in that world. They're still hiding by the bonfire. I thought they would come and chase me because I thought, you know, 3 people against 1, that's surely gonna make someone grow some balls, but you know, you can't rely on summoning classes to have any balls, you know. Patrick seems rather bold. He also seems like a fool, so I'm gonna try and bait him in here. One-on-one, I could have killed him pretty much without taking any damage, but he's with his girlfriends, so I can't really do much about him. But yeah, this I can already reveal already now that this isn't going to be a situation where I win, and I'm not interested in showing you just videos of where I win. I'm interested in showing you videos which illustrates sort of my point, as well as pointing out the faults I make and stuff like that. I think that's really learning. So yeah, I have no exit here. They're blocking the exit, so I have to go down if I don't want to be cornered. And that's also going to cost me some hit points. It's an unfair trade, but it's all I have. If I tried to run past them, I would most certainly have been stun locked and clipped for more damage. I'm going to try and learn them out as much as I can here, because they're playing super passively. Really boring playstyle, and they're playing this game like you're not supposed to die in this game, and that's silly. Clip Patrick for even more damage, but I get clipped in return by a phantom I couldn't see. So I'm gonna He's relying much on parry, so I'm just going to swing because I know he can't land a parry. And I simply do not respect him. Patrick too is sort of relying on parries, and I'm going to try and just harass them. I want them to come down here and catch me and follow me. But these are really hard to read, you know. These players are really, really difficult to read because you never know when they're going to come in force. You don't know if they're on mic or not. You don't know what sort of tricks they have up their sleeve. I don't even know the skill level of Patrick because he's not been seen without his girlfriends. But he hasn't been healing, so I'm pretty sure he's out of it. Deus Ex is doing the classic running attack opening, which is bad, and here I get clipped too quickly, so I couldn't do anything. And even received the triple point down, the very rare triple point down into point up and spinning around combo, and black crystal combo. Now that's good. That's a moral victory, I would say. The next world I invade, you'd think would be a very manageable invasion. I'm invading a host and his phantom. The phantom, the host is on top of the bridge. You can see him when I turn my camera around here because he tries to hit me with a fireball. And there you can also glimpse the phantom, a white phantom with a summoned check mark, meaning that he's password summoned and probably really high level. I've discovered to my joy and amazement that they have varying latency, which means I'm gonna have some problems here. Counterplaying latency is all well and good. You can say that. That's cool and all. On a console, it's probably even manageable, but on PC, it can get really bad. We're gonna see some example of a really bad latency, which is very common on PC, later in this video. Now I've also been joined by Blue Spirit. The white came around to flank me and then fucked up, so I clip him for some damage. There I get him because he has the weapon one-handed. It doesn't do enough stamina damage to guard break my first sort of block. But I can't catch him because of the perfect sort of latency that he has. He also takes almost no damage, which makes me think he's probably a couple of hundred levels. And he guard breaks me with one hit, even if his weapon is not like a very huge or guard breaky weapon. So I'm not gonna rely on any parries there. And the Blue Spirit has a knife with him, and that's gonna be a difficult fight. Because now you have 3 very fast weapons, and 3 phantoms which are always bunched up. And my weapon, although it's a good weapon with good damage for the Untwink character that I have, does not do enough damage to dissuade these people for long. And I'm not forcing them to drink very often either. So all I can do is really just run back and forth, do turner burns and see how long I last, because I really can't punish them for many of their mistakes. They get rid of the PV rather quickly, and they also block me in very well here. So I'm now on very low health. I have 400 health in Estus left. There are 3 phantoms to deal with, and there are very few really difficult enemies left in this level. And also this phantom seems to be really good at spacing, as you're gonna see soon. So this is officially an unwinnable fight. There you go, see, that's a good spacing. And he's seemingly not affected by any of the mobs. That's annoying when mobs sort of lag out on phantoms. Here you see the blue. He's being a real grown-up memester, so he's now robbed me of any chance I had of winning this fight, because I'm not gonna get any estus from him. And there the host managed to clip me and end it. Now those invasions are really, really unfair, you know. You feel you should win, you feel you did what you could to win, but you simply don't have enough resources and you don't have good enough weapons to win. And of course, you're trying to have the moral high ground here because you're not twinking at least. But even everyone, Twinks, everyone complains about twinkers, but everyone does it. Even if you have just been dropped a weapon with an infusion you don't have access to yet, that's twinking. If you have been dropped a weapon which isn't available in your game anymore, that's twinking too. Everything can be twinking. Password summoning, that's twinking. That must be twinking because obviously they have no business being in PvP at this level because they're too high level. They have too much defense, they have too good weapons, they have too many resources and estus, and it simply isn't on. Here I'm going for some really poor judged parries, but that's really what this character has, because in terms of damage it's just subpar. I must grab all the parries I can in order to make a dent in the host and phantom combination. I'm also going to be joined here by a extremely competent blue. And now I've used 2 estus. No, that's wrong. Now I have 2 estus left. But the host is peppering me with the soul arrows, and the yellow phantom is really on me, and I can't turn off his aggression because he's got the shield out, and I can't guard break him because the attack for guard breaking is slow and unreliable. Here I get a backstab, which I'm really proud of. But the phantom soon takes that pride away, and I can't be hanging around here anymore because they're not going to get the Hodrick invasion, and that's going to be a problem because Hodrick is really the only powerful enemy here. I'm going to do a turn and burn and stop them in their tracks and run into this dangerous area, which can be a huge risk for an invader. And now both of them has broken out the soul arrow, and I find out here that the giant is actually hostile to me. And that too was an invasion that I really couldn't have done anything to win, because I just don't have the build for it. I need this guy twinked. I need more estus. I need better damage. I need a better weapon. I better shield. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of problem if you don't twink at low level. I challenge you. I challenge anyone who isn't Project Goof, obviously, to do invasions at this sort of soul level with a build which is put together solely from items and upgrade materials that you can find in this area. And I want to see whether or not you do any well at it, because you're gonna have a lot of fun doing those kinds of invasions, but you're also gonna scream at your screen a lot, because that's just you just get annoyed at how fucking unfair it all is. Even as even as an invader, you're not supposed to be the winning sort of party. But it's definitely unfair when you hear all those people complain about twinks, and then you try not to twink, and then suddenly everyone you invade are twinks. And there you go, the phantom here, calling himself Wiz, the blue dark moon. He's very obviously a twink because you don't get dark moons at this level. I grab some iframes here, and I can see very clearly that this phantom is lagging like a motherfucker. And we're gonna have a look at some lag, which is common on PC, and this sort of lag I've experienced a lot. I can tell you right now that this phantom is from China. I'm not gonna say more than that. I don't have anything against China or any of its people, but they have this internet policy which makes it really hard for Chinese players to play against the rest of the world. There is a very solid firewall. Here you can see, you can count the frames between me hitting him and him being hit, and if I'm not correct, and usually I'm not, that's a 900 millisecond ping. That's worse than you would get. You cannot run any game reliably on 900 millisecond ping, even if it's fucking Age of Empires. There's almost a second in delay between his animation and whether or not he's hit or whatever. So I'm not even gonna try to defeat him. I'm just gonna try to sort of hope for the best, really, but I don't think this was one of those invasions where I won. Actually, I'm not going to comment on that until it's over. Hodrick has joined me, and suddenly this invasion has become a really rather wild card, because Hodrick is such an idiot, but he's also one of the most useful enemies in this area. Because if you can just get him to have aggro on anything other than you, he's going to make life hell for the host and any phantom he has. Wiz here is not going to last long because of his internet. He also loses this fight. Gives me 2 estus, which I really needed. Or is he? I always get really worried at this point, because this is the point where their internet is put on a strain, and often as not they will disconnect instead of dying. Either by their own making, or because the internet simply just gave up. That's of course going to put me at a huge disadvantage, because now I'm going to be snubbed of 2 estus that I should have had. I earned those estuses and I'm not going to get them because of lag. So lag can break a game. How funny. This guy is very low on health. He hasn't healed. That's a sign that he hasn't got any estus left. I'm low on health. I haven't healed because I haven't got any estus left, so that's how I know. I'm going to try and trick it up because I don't want to get into a poise fight with him. And he's also got good enough reaction that he can roll out of any one attack I do. So I'm going to have to try and catch him. And I'm afraid that's going to have to be a trade. Here I go unlocked for a little bit. That's something I've been practicing for a while. Unlocked play is really effective with a one-handed greatsword, because they have this wide swing arc, but also it's very easy to parry if you're locked on. There we go. He didn't have much left, but he fought like a fucking beast, so good on you. That's really good. I like that guy already. Now I'm gonna have to find the host. Bear with me. This is one of my least favorite parts of an invasion, because the host will bail while you're fighting his phantom or whatever. There's no chance you can know where he's gone, because there are 3 bonfires in this level. He could be at any one of them. You don't even know whether or not he knows about any of them. So your best bet is just to check with all the bonfires in the area to see whether or not he's at any of them. But while you're doing that, he could also be running from bonfire to bonfire in, for example, an opposite direction to you, and since all the enemies are cleared, there may not be a good enough indication of where he is. So you're just gonna have to look around. Don't give up, don't black crystal out. He doesn't deserve an easy victory like that. He needs to suffer, even if it's just your time you're even if it's just his time you're stealing. Make him bleed, make him pay for it, because he's been summoning and he's been thinking that he's better than you, and now he's summoning again. Why wouldn't you know? He's not better than you. He needs to die, and you need to prove that he's better, that you're better than him. That's a lot of words, just fill the time. I did actually arrange to have some channel art produced. I know my channel isn't really big, but I really feel that I can do something here on YouTube and have some fun and make my channel sort of distinct in my own view. So I'm gonna have some art commission. I believe in paying artists, so I have a artist over on Twitter make some really cool imagery for my channel. I'm just gonna check on the host, really just to see. Of course they're Chinese, so yeah. I'm gonna block the Phantom, which were Wiz, I think it was called, because I don't want him to come into this world again. That was just a waste of time, really. And I didn't block the other one, but I really should have, because and this again is not meant to be offensive towards China, but on principle I tend to block people who have a lot of latency with me, who make this game sort of unplayable to me. That might be why I'm not very good at counterplaying latency, but I mean on PC you're very easily going to rack up 1000 ping very easily. Here I see some free estus jumping around. He's fat rolling. that's going to be something to underestimate. Do not underestimate any Phantom if they're fat rolling. After having seen that Project Goof video, Thick Wad of Cake Arena, I don't know if you've seen it, look it up. You don't underestimate a fat roller because you don't know who they are. This guy I do underestimate a little bit, and it means I'm gonna do some really bad trades here. But ultimately he was gonna lose. He was just not prepared for that fight and not particularly good. Now I have 2 estus left. I'm gonna use one of them to fill my health up to a comfortable level because I know the host has another Phantom in the world, and I know that that Phantom uses a great weapon. Gonna be tricky to have to deal with, but I find the host here, and he wasn't hiding there earlier, so he has been running around a little bit. But he's gonna pay because he's also twinking. You may notice that he's got the bandit knife. That's technically twinking, you know. Can't get them in this area, and that's unfair. And have a point down because I don't support summoning. Even though I live on gank squads, I don't like summoners. It's just unfair. It's just unfair to instantly have another enemy that has full health and full estus, and you have just killed that guy sort of 2 or 3 times, I don't know. Now this is a sort of invasion, the last one in the batch. This is the invasion that I win. There are 2 people here, wherein one is the host and one is a naked Phantom with a dark hand, who is not very good at this game, but has a lot of armor, because despite being naked, I reposted for just 300 damage, and that was just a third of the health that Phantom had. Here's the joy of unlocked play. I can just swing away and catch several people in the arc. Parry so that I can get away. You don't always have to grab the repos, you know, that's not always the smartest thing to do. There I can see that the Phantom also likes to parry, so I'm gonna do some unlocked swinging, and that was a good solid 4 hits on everyone in there, so that's a good trade for me. Phantom is a little bit too bold, gets turned and burned, and then clipped by the thrall, and then clipped by me again as he misses another parry, because I was never going to land that parry really. Now it's just me and the host. I'm fairly certain the host is the sort of person who goes back to resummon, but he also learned the unlocked play joy because he saw that I parried him first and he didn't want to be parried, so he unlocked. And that's smart, that's what you want to do. Unfortunately, it's a little too late. As he stops to summon here, I can quickly grab his health. And I can do the fashionable spin around and clip him on the wake up. That felt good.